Welcome everybody. My name is Marika Soleil, and today we are recording the Okanagan Real Estate Show. So I have with me today Ryan, and Ryan is a home inspector with On Point Home Inspections. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, thanks for having me.
How do you say your last name? Is it Mertes?
Yeah, Mertes.
Mertes, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ryan Mertes here. So we're going to talk a little bit about home inspections, and we have a few questions for Ryan. But yeah, so we're really both happy to be here. How was your week so far, Ryan? Good?
It's good. It's been busy. Yeah, inspections are busy and back to school with the family. Everybody's getting into the routines. Has been busy. So
I
it's been
know.
a
I
good
think
September. Yeah.
I'm finally like in a groove with the kids and work and
Yeah.
ready to kind of do more stuff. But yeah, I guess our jobs are pretty demanding. We have to be all over the place. And do you service only Kelowna and the central Okanagan, or do you go to Vernon and other places too?
Nope. I go Vernon, Penticton, out to Big White as well. So kind of the whole Okanagan Valley.
That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, all my clients that have worked with you had really good things to say, and that's why I thought it'd be a great opportunity to have you on, and we can talk about home inspections.
Great, thank you.
So I'm going to do a little quick Kelowna market update. So I like to do a 7-day kind of, replay of what's been going on with listings and with sold. So this past week, I'm super surprised, but we had 316 listings go back on the or get listed, and that's like huge. So I can feel it and I can see it with more listings popping up. And as everyone knows, we have this huge inventory issue and shortage of homes to sell. But I do, with these numbers, I see 316 listed this last week, and out of those 200 of them sold. So a couple of weeks ago, even a few months ago, we're looking at numbers, for the amount of listings we were getting, the same amount we're selling. So there was really nothing out there, but now I see more coming on. So that's really good to see. I'm also seeing a bunch of price drops. So we had this past week, 71 price drops. So that's kind of, showing us a little shift in the market too. Maybe those high price points and those homes that are, the sellers were trying to get a higher price, it's just not working out for them. Maybe the buyers are kind of going like, hey, I want to step back and I don't want to pay that much. So yeah, 71 price reductions and also a few extensions of listings. So 16 of those, which we haven't seen very many either because homes are, we're selling pretty quickly. And then I just did a quick 24-hour update, and there's 60 new listings in the last 24 hours. So it's going to be a busy weekend, I think, for a lot of people. And like I said, everyone's back into that groove of, kids are hopefully settled in school and parents are kind of like able to breathe a little bit. So I think it's going to be a busy weekend for real estate. And do you guys do home inspections on the weekends? You probably do them all the time.
I do them all the time. Yeah. Just whenever people need them to fit them in before their subject removal date.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to ask you a whole bunch of questions that I came up with that are kind of, to do with home inspections. But why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself? I know you have a lovely family. Where are you from? And tell us about your family a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. So we moved to Kelowna when I was 1. So I spent my life here. Spent a short period of time in Vancouver and a couple of years in Alberta. Now I'm back and I'm not leaving Kelowna again.
I say
I'm married. We have a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. So very busy. Grade 2 and kindergarten this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in doing home inspections, and what did you do before that, or what kind of made you want to be a home inspector?
Sure. Yeah. So before I was actually an automotive technician for 17 years. But on the side, my wife and I were buying houses and renovating them and then selling them. And that's kind of what made me follow my passion to be a home inspector. We certainly had found issues on home inspections or when we were buying and selling too. So I thought I could help people with some of those skills and change careers.
Yeah, that's kind of like, I got into real estate too, because at the time, like Calgary, I was in Calgary, and the real estate market was booming, and all my friends were like buying and selling homes around me, and I'm like, I got to get involved. I was like in my 20s then, but I got to get involved in this because it's just it kind of draws real estate, home inspections, all that stuff around homes. It just kind of draws you to it, right? It's exciting and it's fun, and you get to meet people and help them, which is ideally amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
You've been here for a long time. Wow, that's a long time.
It is a long time, yeah.
So what do you like to do around the Okanagan? Since you've been here for so long, you probably know all the little hidden secrets and gems.
We do tons of camping,
Oh,
hiking, lots of outdoor stuff. Our kids all love camping or going bike riding even. We live pretty close to the Greenway and bike down along the Greenway to the river, to the lake and stuff.
I got to get my daughter. She's 6 and she's not into biking yet. Like she can
Okay.
bike, but she's not into it. So
Yeah.
she likes to go on the scooter. And I'm just like, well, we can't even go on the trails. Like,
Yeah.
where are you going to go on the scooter? So I think this weekend, we're going to push it a little bit to go on the bike more.
Nice.
But anyways, all right. So let's get into our topic of the week. And obviously we're talking home inspection. I thought it was a good idea to talk about this now. Just because we are still seeing a lot of multiple offers and a lot of people thinking that maybe they should not put that home inspection subject into their offer. It's a little bit scary. And, I really wanted to get your take on that. I think myself, inspections are very important no matter what. And if I was to even pick, I would probably get if I was to have to pick between like a financing subject and a home inspection subject, I would rather put a home inspection subject in, just because you never know. Like I just couldn't, I don't think I could make myself, unless the house was new, I couldn't make myself buy a house without doing a home inspection. What do you
Yeah.
think? Yeah.
Yeah. It scares me for people to waive it. Even some of the ones I've done where people were kind of on the fence and then they went through with it, and then the hidden damage that I found, or stuff that has been concealed that they had no idea about, and they were just like, oh my gosh, like we're so happy we had a home inspection,
I know.
just because there is stuff that you can't see until you really get into things.
Yeah. So we just did one the other day and we did not put a home inspection in it, but we wanted to win the offer. My client was still planning to have an inspection done and we figured there would be some things.
Yeah.
But luckily we didn't find anything too major and he was able to kind of get away with it and still win the offer without the subject. But
Okay.
my advice was, of course, you still got to have that home inspection because we need to know. Like we just
Yeah.
need to know. You can't buy something blind and not know anything about the house. So I think in that sense, it worked out for us, but I would still totally recommend it. What do you think about pre-inspections? I know like some of the homes that we list are a little bit older, and we do offer our clients a pre-inspection to kind of get the house ready and so that they're prepared. Do you often do those as well?
I do a few of them. It hasn't been a super common request lately, I think just because it's such a seller's market.
Mhm.
But I have done them and kind of prioritize things for people to go through,
Mhm.
just kind of eliminate their surprise if someone gets a home inspection on the buyer's end. They're not caught off guard by things that are coming up from the report then.
Yeah, because oftentimes you can find all the little things, like the little, the tiny things that a homeowner can actually fix themselves, and then they won't bring up any red flags when the buyers come.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
right? And
Yeah.
and sometimes the buyers are even happy with the pre-inspection that was done. They just get you back in to do like a warranty, make sure you come back and kind of redo it for them.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
just kind of come back, do a walkthrough, make sure the repairs
yeah.
were done. And yeah.
That's right. Yeah, totally. So yeah, I really like them. I think it depends though, and especially with the seller's market, I kind of have been hesitant as well, but
Mhm.
some homes definitely need it. It's always good to have, and and usually it's a reduced price from a regular home inspection because you don't get completely into it. So,
Yeah, exactly.
spending the few $100s or whatever it is on that is always good for clients, I think also.
Yeah,
Um,
the ones I have done, I think the majority have actually been like a family estate sale
mm,
where somebody else is selling the home who had no idea what was done or what's going on. They've been the ones that have hired me for the pre-listing inspection.
and that's actually really smart. Yeah, because there's
Yeah,
a lot of the probate and like, estate sales, you know, um, like children of the people that own the house, taking
exactly.
over the estate and they have never even lived there or anything for like 20 years. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think just having more knowledge is always better than not, I think. And then you're
Oh,
prepared,
definitely. Yeah.
and people like me who are like super anal about knowing everything, you're like, yeah, okay, I can do this. Okay, so let's ask you some fun questions.
Sure.
What do you think what are the biggest issues you find at most home inspections? Like, what are the most common things?
The most common, I would say, I find a lot of roof issues just because people are never up on the roof, but it's like a lack of maintenance. People aren't usually getting any kind of annual maintenance done on the roofs. That's super common. Almost every report will have something like that. For bigger issues that are more common, I would say water damage.
Oh,
Whether
really?
it's a leak or a stain on a ceiling, it's almost always somewhere in the house is going to be a sign of either current or past water damage.
It's funny how you say maintenance because it's something that I talk about like every day, and it's the maintenance of homes. And I find a lot of rental properties, if you're purchasing an investment property, um, they're not maintained, and like it could go, let's say, 10 years without being properly maintained. And that's really where I find a lot of the issues happen. It's like buildup of stuff, not servicing your furnace, not servicing your big appliances, because we all know that if you service your furnace, it's going to last way longer,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. I
Yeah,
was kind of trying, I guess it's from being a mechanic previously. I was trying to push people, once if they buy the house, keep it maintained, because
totally.
the smaller expense every year is going to save you from the big expense down the road.
And that's the thing. And I just had this conversation and I was saying, as an investor purchasing a rental property, you got to keep it maintained, because
Yeah.
all that money that you think you're making in those 10 years, when it comes down to actually, going to the house and checking it out and seeing if there's any issues, there could be all that money could be wasted on issues that could have been taken care of if you maintain the house, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's huge. And you can tell when you go into a house, and you can tell that they've maintained it. You can tell they get their furnace cleaned. You can tell, that they get their gutters done. There's no
Yeah.
issues. They're even if they just like spray the moss off their roof or whatever, just get rid of the leaves, like just
Yeah.
little things to prevent.
Yeah. Touch up painting and stuff like that. You can kind of
Yeah.
get an idea pretty quick of who's actually maintained their home and who hasn't.
Yeah, I think it's a big sign. Like it's a huge
Yeah.
sign when you see a maintained home and you can tell that they take care of it. Like right there, it's like, yay.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
um, so what are the most expensive things that would normally need to get fixed? Like I know there's a few, little things like leaks and stuff like that. But what are the big items that you find, and you're telling people that this is something very important and it's going to cost you quite a bit of money to fix. So thank God you got a home inspection.
Yeah, definitely like foundation issues,
Hmm.
or structure, say like a damaged roof truss or something like that, where you'd still have to bring in a structural engineer to sign off on the repair. The cost can add up pretty quick. Or even foundation issues. I inspected one a while ago, and the foundation was actually non-existent. It was an old house. It was kind of built on stacks of bricks and then cleverly concealed to look like it had a concrete foundation.
Cleverly
And
concealed. I like that.
yeah, it was interesting.
Mhm.
But I mean, a repair like that would have easily been in the six figures to actually
Oh,
put a
for
proper
sure.
foundation. Yeah.
Yeah, we bought a client of ours bought a house by the hospital, and it was on cinder blocks. So we had to, it was about $40,000, I think, 40 or 50 grand, maybe a little bit
Yeah.
more. They had to lift it up. They had to lift
Yeah.
up the house. And luckily it wasn't like a big footprint. They were able to
Right.
do so, but like that's crazy. Imagine buying a house and then not putting a home inspection and then finding out that you have, well, then you can't get financing because I don't think the bank's going to finance that or any
Yeah.
structural or foundation issue either.
Yeah.
So
No.
yeah, and I was going to ask you about foundation issues next. So
Okay.
I think one of the ones we did, there was a foundation issues where there could be cracks going sideways and then cracks going opposite ways, right?
Right. Exactly.
So, and I think the ones that go sideways are not as bad as the ones that go up and down. Is that right?
No, opposite actually. The sideways
Oh,
ones are generally worse.
gotcha.
Vertical cracks will kind of be a sign of just normal shrinkage and settlement over the years. When the concrete dries, it'll shrink and cause we call them just a shrinkage crack.
Gotcha.
But the ones that are going horizontal, it's usually because the foundation is actually bowing in and starting to crack that way. So it's generally, anytime we see a large horizontal crack, you'd want to refer it to a foundation specialist, and have them assess it.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Yeah. So what do you, when a house is settling, because I know I've been seeing this the last couple weeks, what's like a normal amount for a house to settle that's, acceptable?
Ooh.
That's is there even an acceptable amount?
I
Because
don't
I
even know if there
yeah.
is. We measured the actual crack. So anything over a quarter inch, even if it is a vertical crack, anything over a quarter inch would need to go to a structural engineer to assess and see why it's separated that much.
Yeah.
As far as like a floor settling, I don't know what the minimum spec would be. I definitely call it out though as soon as
I
you can
would.
feel it
I saw
sloping.
one that was literally, well, it was definitely more than 3 inches.
Yeah, and I've seen
That's
a couple like that too. Yeah,
like, why don't I
scary.
understand? I just don't understand. Um, okay, where else are my questions here? Okay, so have you ever been in a position where you did a home inspection for a client and you had to tell them that they have to walk away from this house? It's not worth it. And let's just say you ruined the deal for the agents and the clients. But no, like, you know what I mean? Where it was just so bad that you couldn't do it. Like you would not advise them to purchase the house kind of thing, or you would advise them that this is not a good home inspection and you guys got to walk away.
I don't think I've actually said to someone to walk away.
Yeah.
I have told them, I lay the issues out, and everybody kind of responds to it differently. There's sometimes I'm thinking in my head when I talk to them on the phone or in person, like, oh man, this is not going to go well, and they're like, oh, that doesn't scare me at all. And then
Mm,
other issues where they're like, oh, I can't handle that. It seems like everybody has their own comfort level, and I definitely have had buyers that have walked away from deals,
yeah.
but not so much specifically because I've said like you need to
Yeah.
walk away. It's more, this is where we're at, and
So many
maybe
issues.
you can get the seller to cooperate a little bit. Um, and in those cases, they didn't, and they just said, well, this is way too much for me to handle.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's smart. And for people that are able to do that and walk away because of, something that just wasn't sitting right with them,
Yeah,
no, that's really smart. And I think that's really great. And especially when the seller doesn't want to help, I think with my job, I really like to make sure everyone's happy
yeah,
and kind of like a give and take. Like, we've got this issue here. Let's work on it together and figure it out. Or else, someone's going to get pissed off and someone's going to walk, right?
yeah, exactly.
So, okay. So, have you ever had some major, like just beautiful homes that you were so impressed, nothing to report? Even if it was like a 1980s house that was just maintained so well that you walked away and you were like, wow, this is awesome. Like,
I
amazing.
think I've always found something.
Yeah, always something. Hey.
Yeah, even on like brand new builds, there's still things that pop up here and there. I've definitely seen some nice houses where it's very minimal,
Hmm.
but you usually still have some comments, and at the very least, maintenance items that they need to address or pay attention to.
I think there's just so much to worry about, like that people just sometimes forget things, even if it is like, let's say, a new construction. Like for instance, if these the trades are building like a townhome development and they're building like 30 of them at once, there's
Yeah,
bound to be something missed. And that's just life. Like everyone's human, right?
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's see here. Well, I had all those questions and we answered all of our questions. So, one thing I wanted to talk about is, okay, I don't like to get political at all. I'm very neutral. I love everybody and I'm all about inclusivity and, good stuff. And I love all the things that are proposed by the governments. I think some of them are great. Some of them are bad for the election coming up. There's one thing I wanted to ask you about and just talk about, and that is the what is it? So they're proposing that home inspections become mandatory and that buyers have a legal right to have a home inspection. So what are your thoughts on that? I'm going to just tell you my thoughts because I think it's ingenious. I think it's awesome. It just takes away that questioning whether you should put in a home inspection. Why the heck not? Should you not have a legal right to a home inspection? I think it's great.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great idea too, and something that needs to happen, just to protect the buyers. There's so many variables that could happen by waiving the home inspection, and to make it a legal option where somebody can't deny your offer because of it is, I think it's fantastic news.
I think it's huge. So what do you think? Like, do you think if this becomes something that's mandatory, what do you think is going to happen to your business? Like, do you think somehow would it be like the government be involved? Like, do you think it's going to affect your business in any way? Like, maybe.
That rumor has circulated a little bit amongst other home inspectors. If it becomes legalized, is there going to be companies popping up that'll say pay their inspector by the hour to try and, I don't know, undercut the price of a home inspection, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to say what'll happen until
Well,
those things pop up. I think it'll get busier for sure.
It'll get busier for sure. And I mean, it's like with everything, like us realtors are pretty regulated and stuff, but um, there's different companies popping up doing all kinds of things, but it doesn't
Right.
ever take away from working with someone that knows what they're doing and someone like yourself who runs a business.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, and is, friendly with the community, knows the community, knows homes for many years. There's never going to be, I don't think you're going to be able to find employees working for companies that are going to be of the same caliber of service. So
Right. Right.
yeah. So okay, well, let's end things off. It was nice and short and sweet today. Tell us about where we can find your company and your contact info so that people can contact you if they want to do a home inspection.
Yeah, no, that's great. My website's www.onpointkelowna.com. My phone number is 250-212-7440. And I'm also on Facebook at On Point Home Inspections, Kelowna BC.
Awesome. So we'll share all that information later.
Okay.
And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We did it. Yeah, it was good. So
Thanks.
bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.